to control inflammation, foods that affect inflammation, lifestyle, how all these things can affect inflammation in your body and how you can take charge and control it. The current research out there at the moment is putting the blame of most chronic diseases on uncontrolled inflammation. Inflammation, people mostly know it for like joint pain. I've got arthritis. But inflammation is not a problem only for your joints, but it's also a problem for your heart, your brain. So if you have inflammation in your heart or your circulatory system, it can lead to heart disease or stroke. If you've got inflammation in your brain, it could lead to dementia. The list keeps on going, but you always want to consider controlling inflammation in the body. So your food choices, your lifestyle and stress management have huge consequences when it comes to inflammation. So what does inflammation mean? The word inflammation comes from Latin and it means to set on fire. So itis is what they put at the end of a word to mean that it's inflamed. So if you have an inflamed colon, it's colitis. If you've got inflamed tendons like tennis elbow, it's tendon with itis, so it becomes tendonitis. So just if you see itis at the end of the word, it means something is inflamed, it's set on fire. So the signs and symptoms that would relate to inflammation, so red, anything that's aggravated, so like acne or a rash on the skin, that means it's all inflamed, it's red, it's angry. Bloating in the gut, if you've got pain in the abdomen, so this is all going to relate to the digestive system, bloating in the gut and abdominal pain. If you've got a fever, that's heat. Swelling, so joint pain is going to be arthritis, so you're going to see it as maybe just swelling in the joint. Loss of function, so if you went over on your ankle and you sprained your ankle, you mightn't actually be able to put any weight on your ankle, and that's your loss of function. That's your body stopping you from using that joint to help protect it. And let's say chest pain could be a sign of inflammation, could be a sign that the heart's in trouble. So you've got redness, you've got bloating, swelling, you've got heat, you've got pain, and you've got loss of function. They're kind of the signs and symptoms of inflammation in the body. So just don't think that it's just to do with an ankle or a knee. It can be within the gut, it can be the skin, it can be the chest, it can be different areas of the body. So the immune system is really linked to inflammation. So think of the immune system like a Pac-Man, like white blood cells. They go around and they eat up anything that needs to be removed from the body. So if you go over and you sprain your ankle and you see some swelling, some redness, it's starting to cause you a little bit of pain, what's going to happen in there is your damaged tissue is needing attention. So what happens is it swells up, more blood flows to the area, your white blood cells come in, your Pac-Man comes in and he starts eating away at any damaged tissue to remove that damaged tissue. But sometimes what happens is that damaged tissue is removed, but then the Pac-Man keeps on eating away and he's taking away healthy tissue. Or he's affecting the healthy tissue, and this is what we don't want. So if this is left uncontrolled, inflammation can stay turned on, and this can damage your healthy tissue. So that excess blood, white blood cells, everything, pain, heat, loss of movement. So your Pac-Man will stay active. He tends to stay active in the presence of AGEs, which we'll talk about, allergens, so like gluten, sugar, there's stress in general. So you want to try and learn how to turn off inflammation and control it with your food, your movement, and your lifestyle. So types of inflammation. So we've got your short-term inflammation, which is known as acute inflammation, or that emergency response when you step over on your ankle. Or we've got your long-term chronic inflammation, and this can lead to chronic disease. And this is when your inflammation turns on and it doesn't turn off again. And this can lead to constant degrading of the tissue in the body, which will ultimately lead to disease. So different types of inflammation, of chronic inflammation. So all these guys here are rooted in chronic inflammation. So something turned on, it didn't turn off, and the body, the immune system was just heightened the whole time. So we've got cancer, arthritis, so your joints, Alzheimer's, neurological diseases, so like maybe what's the word? MS, Parkinson's, anything like that. We've got cardiovascular disease, which is going to be a heart disease. Autoimmune could affect your thyroid. Pulmonary is all going to be lungs, so COPD, emphysema, and then we've got diabetes. So all these guys are grounded and rooted in inflammation. So if we can learn to control inflammation, hopefully we can stop any of these diseases from occurring. So new terms that we're going to talk about is going to be ROS, is reactive oxygen species. So this is all about free radicals and antioxidants. We'll go through it. Advanced glycation end products, so AGEs. This is all about sugar and how it affects the molecules in the body. Then we've got your LPS, your lipopolysaccharides, and this is to do with gut health and the gut lining. And then we've got your C-reactive protein, which is how to test for inflammation in the body. So, how can you tell if your body's inflamed? So, my biggest thing is, I don't want people to know their body's inflamed by some major incident that happened. So, some people won't know that they've got any heart issues until they have a heart attack or until they have a stroke. So, for me, I advise, like, when you hit your 30s, your 40s, you get a C-reactive protein test. And this is going to tell you where inflammation is in your body. Okay? So there are many studies that are reporting correlation between inflammation, cardiovascular disease, stroke, and depression to high levels of inflammation. So it's very hard to know if your brain's inflamed, because the only way to get in there and see if your brain is inflamed is to literally crack it open and have a look. But we all know that that's not possible. So you want to take control, and you don't want to let the symptoms occur before you know what's going on, and that's why this test is super important. If your inflammation levels are high, it could be an indication of cancer. It could be an indication that, like, your heart function, your circulatory system isn't working very well. Stroke, heart attack, diabetes is there. Something's lingering. There's inflammation there for a reason. Now, inflammation can occur for two reasons. It can occur because of an acute incident, or it can occur because of chronic. So if you've had a flu, stomach bug, chest infection, this could all raise your Pac-Man as such, so your white blood cells, so your inflammation is going to be higher. But if you hadn't had any of those and your inflammation is higher than it probably should be, then something needs to be looked at. Okay? Something needs to be addressed. So the test is your C-reactive protein, and it's a blood test, and pretty much 0 to 5 is your normal range. Anything over 5 is a sign that there's something underlying, there's something going on. If you haven't had a cold, cough, chest infection, stomach bug. And then ideally your target range, you're looking for 1 or lower. Okay, so next time you go to the doctor, think about getting your C-reactive protein. It's going to give you an indication of what's going on in the body. And it's easier to maintain your health than to get it back. So maintain your health, use a C-reactive protein test to see where your inflammation is at. So all inflammation needs to be investigated further. So you really need to get to the root cause. You don't just want to take anti-inflammatories and be like, oh, I'm fine. You want to figure out why you're inflamed. So is it stress related? Is it food related? Is it related to toxins in your food or additives in your food? Or are the foods you're eating promoting inflammation or decreasing inflammation? So how and why inflammation can occur in the body? So are you eating too little foods that decrease inflammation and too many foods that increase inflammation? Are you eating foods that irritate the lining of your gut? And this will increase your LPS, which we'll talk about, and this can increase and promote inflammation because your immune system is stimulated by the LPS in your bloodstream. Eating a diet that's high in sugar, this creates AGEs, which can lead to inflammation. We'll talk about that.